Hi guys.
Well, hello.
I just got done having my, as she says, younger girlfriend give me a tutorial on how to Zoom. I'm just not really very good at Zoom.
That's all right. Did anybody else get asked for a meeting ID, a PIN code?
No, but I logged in as a administrator, so
Well, it's so crazy. Like I even checked it again, it all worked and say launch meeting and let's see if it asks for a PIN code. It's just so
It says reoccurring.
Facebook link doesn't get you on without a meeting password. I use the exact same link that I copied from Slack, but it's still asking for a passcode. It doesn't make any sense. It's like it's converting it on Facebook, converts it or something.
Stephanie, Julia, this is Mary.
Hi there.
So when I try to go through the Zoom app, it's going to ask for that code. So I just put the URL that's on Facebook instead. And that's how I got in.
Yeah, I clicked that URL off of Facebook and it asks for a PIN code and it shouldn't do that.
She's our new IT.
From what you gave me, Julia, back on Slack ages ago.
So happy hour. And last meeting, I meant to ask for a yay or nay on my fine mustache, but forgot. You can say it's terrible.
Have you been working hard on it?
Well, I had the long chin whiskers,
Okay.
and then for
Clean that
her
up.
birthday, I made this.
There you go.
Everybody likes some awful thing like that.
Hey, Julie, it's the same passcode I copied from Slack, period. I have no idea why.
Tasty.
That's trouble, period. Julia, Gary, and I are on.
I need to repost.
This is so weird. It's like it gets converted when
Yeah.
posted on Facebook.
Doesn't trust
Because
Facebook.
it's the exact same pasting link as we've always used. So
Yeah.
I don't know what the difference is, but it's really frustrating because people are not going to want to join,
Yeah.
and keep trying. So
Yeah. And I don't know a quick, easy fix other than post it again.
Sorry guys, I'm gonna interrupt. I do virtual meetings all the time. Whoever made the meeting, there should be an option to go into your meeting and you can get that code and paste that
Just
on
go ahead
Facebook.
and
That
paste
helps
it.
too.
Did you find it, Julia?
I can see.
Thanks, Mary.
You're welcome.
This is just the personal meeting ID
Yeah,
or a passcode,
Mayor.
it should be the personal meeting ID.
the personal meeting ID. Okay. Like just this, what is it? 10-digit code?
Yeah, because you just put that in when it asks, and that should take care of it.
So let me see. So if I'm editing it,
It's,
let's see, I have the link.
do you want the number? Because I
It
know
doesn't
like
give
on
me
the link, it should show up.
The link is the 814-698-42205.
Yeah.
And so I don't know why it's not letting people in.
Mhm.
So Mary, if
Click join event. I'm gonna leave and try.
if Julia is giving out her ID, that ID number, then it would be anybody could start the meeting. I don't listen. I am the last person to ask. So go ahead, Mary.
Well, I just tried to do the link from Facebook on my phone just to test it, and it's
Mhm.
saying it hasn't started yet. The host will let you in soon. Can you admit me? Do you see an option to admit?
Yep, sorry, yeah. But you didn't have to add the a meeting ID to it?
Nope, I got straight in. But I have the Zoom app, so I don't know if that makes a difference or not.
I wonder if that does.
Is there a deal where you can just admit all?
Sorry, that was a bad angle for me to hold my phone and a camera.
It's not giving me well, I can if there's multiple people asking to be admitted, but there's not a default, like, just go ahead and admit everybody. But that doesn't seem to be the problem, because if they can get logged in and just need to be admitted, then I just have to let them in, like that.
We need a 10-year-old board member that can
Really do.
just fix everything for us.
Let's see.
I'm used to Microsoft Teams. I only do Zoom with friends.
Yeah, I use Teams, and then our hospital has our own app that's terrible.
Are you a nurse?
Psychologist.
Psychologist? Oh my God, I would need you.
We'll stop talking now.
All right, let's see who is. Well, this is kind of what we had the 30-minute, really this is what the happy hour is for.
Right.
Julia, would you mind just turning off allowing the host to let us in? Anybody who joins can just join.
I have. Place down.
Is it
Allow participants to rename. Allow. Mute,
Okay.
ask all to unmute. Yep.
Just let anybody who joins. And Julie
Oh.
Jennings is saying, can I have a meeting passcode? There is no passcode.
There is no passcode.
Hello, Victor.
Was that you, Stephanie? Was that you that texted me?
Yes.
Need to add your name.
Yeah, good idea. There is no passcode.
Yeah, and if they need a meeting ID, it's the one that you read out.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hello. We're just sorting out technical difficulties. If you are a Zoom whiz.
What do you need help with?
For some people, it's asking them for a meeting PIN or a meeting passcode, and there shouldn't be one. And we don't know why that is.
The link on the Facebook asks for a meeting passcode to get in.
And I got nothing.
All right. All right, let's see. Facebook.
Okay.
Didn't all of us get it off of Facebook? I don't know where else people that are on the call would be getting the link.
I
do.
posted it on Instagram as well.
I tried to.
Victor, where did you join from?
I joined from the Google calendar, our monthly calendar event.
Oh, well, there's an idea.
Yeah, it's
So maybe
recurring.
just-
You send out and download it. It's on our calendars.
But when I go to Facebook to look at the event, it says it's elocallink.tv. Wait. Oh, no, that's something different. I'm sorry. Let me see.
Like, no.
No.
Well, it came on my phone three times.
Toms's, are the Toms's on? Marlene and John, are you on?
Those are announcements.
Not as of yet.
Who is
On the
iPhone?
iPhone.
Who's
Are you
iPhone?
the? Yeah, we might want to, yeah, it looks like you're just, Marlene and John, looks like you just have the iPhone as your meme and not a photo or anything. Gotcha. Okay. And did you get on okay with the Facebook link, Marlene?
Can you hear me, Stephanie?
Now we
Yeah, I
can.
can.
Yes, John did it with his Facebook and we're on his phone.
So I guess it's
Somebody
some
gets one.
for the code and
But-
others not. So
Is there a way that you can email that to everybody? Like you did in the past? Because I don't think everybody's on Facebook.
Well, for some reason, the MailChimp didn't go out. We'll have to figure out why that is. And I tried to get on from the
So-
Facebook link and it asked for a passcode.
well, then how did you get on then, Julie?
I just went back on Slack and went back to the meeting and said, damn it. And I kept hitting
Yeah,
it.
that's
and
the same Slack. I went to Slack and pasted the link and that's what I used for this Facebook, but it seems like
I
when
just clicked on the link.
Facebook, it seems
So-
like it's converting it into a shortened URL and it's not working right.
So in there, you would go to the discussion. Here, I'll just do it that way. You can go to the discussion and then update the link through there. So here, let me see if that works. Post an event.
Hey, Stephanie,
Yes, ma'am.
this is Julie T.
Hello.
Just to, hi, just to let you know that I was able to get on through Facebook.
Oh, Jesus. And it didn't ask you for a passcode.
No.
Julie, was that like a very short little, like 02 something little link?
It's US2,
Well,
US02 web.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Well, I looked on the one, I clicked on the one that said join now.
Mhm.
That I needed a passcode. I clicked on the one down in the body of the notice and said I needed a passcode. Then I just went back to Slack. So
I did have to try 3 times to get in, but it never did ask for a passcode.
well, see?
Hmm.
I don't know. I do not know then.
Hey, Julie Jennings.
Yeah,
Earlier in the day, I had talked to Liam about some of the food drive stuff, and then your email or text, I believe, whatever it was, saying that he was our agent and whatnot. So it's kind of fun, kind of like, woo. So it's, you know, I can just talk to him about the insurance. Is that, I mean, there's no real issue.
what's the question?
Question being is like Daniel has set up a meeting for tomorrow at the Westwood Park with the city planner that is going to either allow or deny the community garden to be in a portion of the park. So I just kind of wanted to be ready with insurance data
Until he
and
asks us,
whatnot.
I
What's
would
that,
say
Daniel?
until he asks us for it, that we don't need to provide or have anything in advance if we don't
Absolutely,
know.
but if he does ask, I want to be ready.
I don't know how that would work.
They
Well-
have, so when it comes to providing COI for the city, there are certain, they have different departments and they'll give you a specific address that's tied to the department. So until he gives us that information, there's no reason for us to spin wheels and create something we don't know if it's going to be correct or not.
Yeah, don't ask any questions until you're asked.
Yeah,
I think we need to pursue with Keith using his lot.
is that, Daniel, is that somebody you were talking to as well?
Yes, Keith, he's over
Okay.
on Genesee.
Well, I'm wide open.
Keith Henry.
I have a feeling the
Yeah.
city's gonna make it hard on us, so.
Yeah,
Let's not
that's
assume
why-
anything until it happens. I mean, let's stay positive in this. I think we'll
it'd be
try
needed
for
for
both. Yeah, we'll talk to them tomorrow. It should be an easy conversation.
Hey, one other question quickly on all of that yard, garden and all that. Julie, have you been taking care of the garage sale and stuff in the past? Has that been you?
I have done it in the past, but Renee is who signed up for it last year. And then when you said you'd do it, we switched it to you
Okay, well, on the garage sale?
on the yard sales.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
the yard sale, I'm all good with. I was just, I think it was May who had, wanted to, or you wanted to kind of put them all together, which makes perfect sense. The yard sale, the yard of the month, the spirit.
No, that's just,
festive-
that's just the channel, because we wouldn't be talking about all of those things at the same time. So yard of the month would be the main topic on that channel. And then the yard sales could be discussed under that channel, like in May,
Yeah,
right before the yard sale, because then it would be over until the next year. And then I think those are the only two things that I said could be in that channel.
yeah, perfect. Just trying to find some clarity in where we are on that, because I didn't know if it was now, if the yard sale was gonna be my baby. I needed a lot of learning.
I was gonna say, I think,
No,
yeah, unless Renee is interested in continuing to help out with it, because she was just last year and we had to cancel it, correct?
right.
So,
So
I
all
think,
it
I
is
think
is-
you get to be
all
in
it is-
charge, Gary.
Me?
Yeah, all it is picking the day in June,
Yeah.
and it can't be the 12th.
Well, that's my birthday. Definitely can't be the 12th, because that's also MIP.
Music in the Park, right. So we just have to pick Saturday in June and do it.
Very good.
You know,
I'm
you just put a post on the
all in for
discussion
that.
page. Just put a post on the discussion page for people to email you and sign up.
Okay, yard sale.
Yeah,
Does
there's
anybody
no,
have any kind of particular issue with a weekend or a day? Like, I mean, I don't have kids. I don't know anything.
Boyd, isn't Father's Day? Well, that's a Sunday. Are you doing it? Is it Saturday and Sunday?
No,
I thought it was just Saturday, wasn't it?
Saturday?
it's just Saturday, and people set their own hours with
Yeah.
their own signage. We just have a big banner that says garage sales or yard sales, neighborhood yard sales this Saturday.
Do we need
And-
permits on that?
Nope,
Okay, and then in the past, someone has actually provided a map where people would turn in their address.
right.
Is-
When people sign up with you and give you their addresses, then Mark Carr has very graciously put it into Google Maps. And then we shared that on the Facebook page.
Very
We
good.
also print it and I also print it and run it off and have taken a stack of the list of addresses to each participating sale.
Very good.
so Gary, as you can see, it's pretty informal. If you want to take on the project, you can do it however you'd like. There's not a lot of rule or structure around how it's done.
Yeah. the-
That's
the-
good.
the
That's
sign-
great. And they all
we have
three,
some-
all of those. Go ahead.
We have signs that we drop off at the participating people so that they can put them up in their yard, and we have the one for the park.
Very good. And all of the yard sale, the yard of the month, the spirit, all of those things just fit nice and easily in one little basket. So all in.
Okay.
Julie, it's like looking at you double vision.
I know.
Mm,
It's so much better than.
So is anybody having a cocktail for happy hour?
Nobody had a taco for Tuesday.
Nice. Where from?
Manny's.
Mmm.
I think
So-
Manny's has a bit. Go ahead.
I don't know how to share my screen. Host disabled participant screen sharing. Can you enable participant screen sharing?
Mary is gonna come to our rescue.
No, she's got
Oh,
whoever, they have to have it, all members have to have the ability, and then there's just a button to share screen.
Check now. Check now.
We got it or no?
Yes, okay. So, wait, how do I do the screen? Yes, I want to share my screen. Share.
I do still have it as one participant can share at a time. I don't know if, well, I can just, I'll have,
Oh, look.
it'll be a free for all. You can all share all at the same time.
How do I get out of that? Okay.
You got yourself into that.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, here we go. Well, I want to small it because I don't need that at all. Okay. Okay. Look,
Oh,
Google. So I'm going to go over here. Hopefully it will let me. So we have candidates that were supposed to come in the last 15 minutes, but I never got their names. So. Okay.
So did they volunteer to come? How did we know?
Well,
They're-
one person asked, so she reached out to that one person, and then because that one person asked, we had to reach out to the other people that
Yeah.
are running, and she did. And
She
said,
being Meg?
Meg,
Okay.
but she never got back with me on who is coming. So I just put candidates for 6th. So here's the agenda, and I will switch after everyone that is currently on the call at 6:55. If you could look at the agenda, I have printed it. So we can move it along.
can you scroll it a little bit right at this time?
Well, this is the agenda. This is just the reminder of when things are happening.
Okay.
Like when we passed this out at the meetings, it was
And
handy.
I can add a copy to the chat as well, unless you want to, Julie.
Oh, no, I don't know how to do that. Go do that. Then I'll go to
I
my other
will.
thing that I have to share.
I will.
Okay.
Watch me.
So I will go to the,
And I'll post it on Facebook.
I don't think so.
Oh my God.
You know, I get to your chat.
you'll put what on Facebook?
The agenda.
Oh, okay.
Is it under Drive or Docs?
Drive. It says March 2021 general meeting.
Okay, there we go.
And then this is the volunteer committees that we need volunteers for in our volunteer forum. And I was just going to have people, I was just going to do a little introduction in a few minutes as to how we're doing it. And then if people have questions as to what the duties of the volunteering for those activities or things, then we'll have 15 minutes after Mark and Charmaine time to ask questions, but I'm going to have them volunteer. Oh, did we hit record?
Yes. For some reason, it's saying that I'm not connected to the network, which is interesting because I'm online. I'm on this meeting. So if somebody else has it downloaded to their computer and they go to the chat section and click on the chat button, there's a little file button down at the bottom that you should be able to click and download it to. And I can explain that further if anybody needs it.
What does NEHI mean?
Neighbors experiencing homelessness.
Okay.
Knee-high?
Can someone else try to post it? I'm sorry. It's just,
Perhaps Mary.
Stephanie,
Well,
do you have the agenda downloaded?
No, but I can.
Yeah, it's just, it says there's a network disconnect and I don't know what that is.
What do you need me to do?
To post it to the chat
Yeah.
on Zoom.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, why is it not letting me move this? There we go. Okay. There we go. Now the whole thing's on there. All right. Now I was going to have people sign up via the chat. But hopefully I'll have time enough to write down who would like to volunteer on each of these things.
What are wooden markers in the markers project?
Well, where are they?
No, what are they?
Well, the ones that remain are at 47th and State Line in the park. One is at 45th and State Line in the Parkway. We have posts that remain at other places, but this wooden part of the sign broke or was taken off or something removed. So we were going to build new ones, smaller versions of the one that's at the flower garden, on each of those places. They're like,
Oh, they're just wooden markers, signs of.
right now they're carved wooden signs that are blue background with white letters that say West Plaza.
Okay.
And they're there to signify the entrance to West Plaza, the entrances.
I see.
Westwood Park has them along 48th Street, these little stone markers.
Hey, pardon me, Julia, it says chat disabled. I'm not allowed to pin anything.
Yeah, me either.
That to me too.
Hold on.
I think we need an IT guy, girl.
Aha!
There we
Your
go.
chat messages went through. Okay. So that's where I'm gonna move this over to here. So that's where I would like people
Can
to,
people access the chat now?
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
Hi, Regina.
Hello.
Still not
So
letting me
it's-
upload anything.
It's 7:02, Julia.
All righty.
Okay, I uploaded it. It's.
Thank you,
should be-
ma'am.
If you see it, I hope.
I can, yes.
It says file.
Yep, in the chat, you can see the agenda.
All righty. Well, I'll go ahead and get started, even though who all of our guests are actually here. Do we have
No,
Mark Conover or
they're not on yet, and I confirmed with both of them yesterday.
From Alex to everyone, hello. Hi, Alex.
we'll give people just one more minute. I want to,
And where are we expecting Meg or Francine?
Francine's in Miami, so she is not going to be at the meeting. She did not take her computer with her.
looks like
Margie,
logging in. Let me see if I can give her.
Margie,
Who was in the hospital the last meeting we had?
you were.
No, well,
Regina.
that's just highly probable.
Regina
thought-
was.
Yeah, Regina was. Is everything turned out okay?
Yes, I had to go back again this weekend. I've had kidney stones, of all things.
Oh my God. Those
Yeah.
are horrible, horrible,
Yes.
awful,
Anyone
very
who has
bad.
ever had them, you know how horrible they are, and I've never had them before.
Do you drink soda pop?
Nope.
Well, I hear they're brutal.
They don't have very many reasons why you have them.
Isn't that right?
Yeah, I don't ever want to do that again. And the worst thing was then I had a reaction to the contrast dye.
Oh
So
my God.
yeah, it was a horrible, they thought they were going to have to intubate me. So it was not,
Oh, no,
Yeah.
that's no good.
yeah, it was awful. All's well. It'll get better sooner.
All righty. Well, I'm glad to hear you're feeling better, Regina, or hopefully
Yeah.
going in a good direction.
No pun intended.
Yeah. Hope these are moving freely for you.
Let's go
All right,
with the
so
flow, Regina. All right, let's get kicking.
we will get this meeting started. Officer Sanders, looks like she's about to log on, so we're one down.
Yay.
But I will go ahead and have very brief introductions, and I'm going to pull up the agenda so I can summarize what we'll be doing today. So welcome everybody. Welcome to our March West Plaza Neighborhood Association General Meeting on Zoom. Thank you to everybody for being with us, and acknowledgement that it's been a year that we've been doing these Zoom meetings. I know most of us missed the contact of having in-person meetings, and hopefully, fingers crossed, we will have an option for an in-person meeting next time. Though I suspect that for the time being, we will also keep a virtual option for those who feel more comfortable watching from home. So tonight we've got a pretty full agenda, so I'm going to keep it brief. We're going to be talking about volunteer opportunity, updates from our officers, community interaction officers, particularly about our neighbors experiencing homelessness. And then we are tentatively have some candidates for our upcoming elections who will be speaking at the end, possibly. So on that note, I will turn things over to Julie Jennings for a quick explanation of the volunteer forum.
Hey, welcome. So I have shared my screen with our volunteer committees where we need either one and done volunteership or be on the committee for the planning and execution of our events, the ongoing things we need help with, etc. So they're all listed there. So while Charmaine is speaking, or Charmaine and Mark hopefully is speaking, people can look at this list, and if there's something that sparks your interest, or if you need more information about it, notate it in the chat. And in the 10 minutes after our presentation, we'll be able to answer questions about what it entails to volunteer for that particular thing. So, Charmaine, take it over.
And Julie,
All right.
quick, can you
Oh.
zoom in a little bit on that for people
Zoom in.
on the volunteer Excel sheet?
Well, I put it so that it all appeared on one screenshot. Is that
Okay.
what you mean?
Well, can you change it from 100 to maybe 125
Yeah.
something?
Oh, well, that makes it not be on the same screen. That's what I did. I moved it to 90% so that everything appears on the screen.
Okay,
Oh, I see. Okay.
I can make it bigger, but then it won't all appear on the same screen.
gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
So I'd have to do it. Okay,
Yeah, it's pretty tiny.
okay, I'll put it at 95.
Okay.
No, it won't let me put it at
Want it
95.
bigger.
I know, but okay.
Well,
But
while-
all of them won't appear if I make it bigger.
Try hit F11 and it'll go full screen. See if that works.
Well,
F11.
while Julie is working on that, we will turn it over to, I believe Charmaine, are you up next with updates?
Yes.
All right, thank you for joining. us.
Not sure. I sent the email to Mark Canovi. I do believe CIT officers have been in training this week. And so I didn't get a reply, so I'm assuming it's because he's been in CIT training. But just really quick, the property crime is definitely down in your guys' neighborhood, which is great. I'm only seeing one reported stolen auto and one reported stolen catalytic converter. So that's really great. And that will be between the 8th and the 14th of March. It looks like all of our property crime is maybe north of Center Zone. So that's pretty good. I know Julie mentioned the camp there at Southwest. Myself and Andy went to visit that camp earlier today, had a talk with some of the people, kind of getting an idea of what's going on there, things that the city is wanting to know. Now, we had a Zoom meeting last Friday, I believe it was last Friday. Yes, last Friday with Councilman Bunch as a result of so many 311 complaints, which are great. I say keep going with the 311 because that seems to be the only thing that's getting the attention of city council at this point. We did have a meeting. They are trying to strategically find somewhere else for these people to be. We have been doing outreach, and it's getting a little out of PD's hands, honestly, because it's coming to the city. They're bringing up legal examples. They're bringing up case law that they need to know about and they need to study before they go in and remove this camping for some reason. That I don't understand, but that's like way above my pay grade. But there has been conversation. They haven't been ignoring it. There has been conversation. I've continually gotten emails, which are great. I forward those on to our city liaison officer, which is his name is Captain Simons. And then he forwarded those on to the city when he goes to whatever meetings that he's attending. And so it's getting pushed that way.
And do they know that there's a GoFundMe page?
Actually, Andy just found that today, and I believe he forwarded that to Captain Simons as well.
Okay.
We just seen that. He just sent me a picture of that maybe like 2 hours ago.
Okay.
So yes, we that was also forwarded to Captain Simons as well, so that he can forward that on. And so yes, we are trying to collectively. So it was really weird. We just went to kind of talk to the people today and just kind of observe what we were seeing, any hazardous conditions, anything that's, messing with the electricity or anything like that. And then the Kansas City Star popped up. So that was really great. But we did talk to them. Honestly, like I said, it's in the city's hands now, because there doesn't seem like it doesn't seem like they're leaving anytime soon. I should put it like that. It's a very sophisticated camp. It's very well thought out. And I think what's keeping them there is what we noticed, and just from them being honest with us, is that you have businesses over there who have been supplying them with food, who have been making sure that, so the coffee shop that's across the street, just in front of the hardware store, they have been allowing them to dump their trash. So that's convenient for them. I know the guy mentioned Subway is bringing food. And so when other people, it's just not the restaurants, people have been bringing food from like Kansas. They have literally a tent with, it's called the storage tent, with water, with food. And so when people are supplying them with that stuff, they don't have a reason to leave. They got what they need there. I believe they talked about going to Quick Trip for restroom facilities. And so that's pretty much why they have gotten so comfortable, and that camp has actually grown. And then they mentioned today that they were expecting 7 more tents. I don't know if that meant 7 more people were coming, but they were definitely setting up to have more people there, which is all what we've reported back to. That was our purpose of going today, was kind of see what's going on, talk to them, and then report it back so that the city could be updated on that information. Like I said,
excuse me, I have noticed quite a bit of,
yes, sir.
I've noticed quite a bit of support and I don't know, understanding people on social media, where I mean, literally are just saying, I'm going to help them do whatever I can, so on and so forth. Now, I do like the fact that they're taking their trash to the coffee station. But how is it that the city cannot take it? I don't know, enforce. I mean, you can't live on a city median, or you shouldn't be able to.
You were
again, that's a rude position, I'm guessing.
Yes, no. You're asking a question that I have asked for the past 2 weeks, is how is this able to happen when we have city ordinances for tenting and things like that, where you can't just set up a tent anywhere you want to on city property, yet they've been able to do it. That is a question that I have. That is a question that should be directed to the city, because as of right now, I have no answer. Like, I honestly have no answer for you. I wish that I did, but we as law enforcement are also confused as how this is continuing to go on. So,
Well, I myself have noticed that there are much safer, calmer places close by, that it would be better for it to be there. Because
and so with this camp, it's not just homeless people. It is homeless people trying to make a statement, trying to make a political statement. They're in protest of what the city does or what we don't do for homeless people. And I think that's where the city is trying to cover themselves, if you want to, if I can put it like that, on how to get them removed. I agree, it's not a safe intersection. We were there today, and it just, cars flying through red lights every which way. I've personally worked accidents where cars have, flown off the road into that same area, which concerns us, because if that happens, cars are going to fly right into those tents, which then we have a much bigger problem than the tents themselves. So I get it. It's definitely not safe. But at this point, we have we were given an assignment to, and it's not just us, I believe the fire department was also told to go observe and see what was going on. I believe there are generators going, there are wires going, they have like tarp on the ground that has been anchored down. When I say it's sophisticated, it's very sophisticated. They make sure they're not on the grass, which is actually ruining the grass over there. But yeah, I mean, they have planned this out, and it's continually growing. And like I said, with people bringing them the things that they desire and the things that they need to keep this camp growing, it's going to keep them there. It's going to continue to be a problem until the city decides what they're going to do. With that being said, the city hasn't done anything about the people in front of City Hall itself. So that should give you some type of indication of what we're looking at here. If they're allowed to tent on the lawn of City Hall, you know, the city's going to allow them to tent anywhere else. So, yes.
Charmaine, I noticed the camps popped up when we had that bitter cold, weather a few weeks ago, or several weeks ago. Is there any sense that this was sanctioned initially by the city or by nonprofits, that there was deliberate attempts to provide shelter there because of the cold?
Well, as far as we know, that I can't answer. As far as we know, there was actually a news story with one of the, so if you guys remember, there was a homeless guy that froze to death, and it was all over the news, and the police took a lot of flack for it because we were accused of taking his materials, and then the very next day he froze to death, which was not true. I've seen where this guy lived, and we took absolutely nothing. But this camp was started by the person who supposedly found him frozen to death. And that's why I said it's now become a political statement, because and I've talked to him personally, he's very pissed off that he found someone frozen to death. And so his agenda now is to capture the city's attention any way possible. And I think this was a way to capture the city's attention by setting up a camp where it would be absolutely seen. You can't ignore it. Where he usually lives is very hidden. You can't see it. You have to walk through a wooded area. You gotta hike a little bit. Now he is where he is absolutely in the open. And it's not just him. There are several other people who are not homeless, who are also aiding this camp. They bring things to this camp and then they go home. And then they come back and they check on people and then they go home. And so you also have that problem as well.
So can I ask a question? What is the real issue here? Is it the lack of city resources to provide for these individuals? Or is it the fact that these individuals don't want any help and they choose to be on the street? I'm getting mixed signals here.
According to them, yes, we have a lack of city resources for homeless people. Now, I can tell you, we did a thing called Point in Time on January 27th, where we, as CIOs, and we had social workers from various different agencies, we went out and we went from literally as far north as you can go, Kansas City, and as far south as you can go. We talked and we did actually a homeless head count of homeless people for the sake of getting more resources. Now, I can tell you, I've been out with Andy. We've done a lot of outreach. We've talked to people. We've offered people help. We've offered resources, and they don't want the resources that are offered to them. They want to suggest what they want offered to them. Meaning, for example, today, one of the guys was like, well, there's a lot of vacant buildings in Kansas City. Why can't the city offer a vacant building to us and then we maintain it? We all know that will never be possible. That would never work. But they want what they think is appropriate and not what we have to offer, if that makes sense. And so that's where the disconnect is. We went out today. We were prepared to get them in shelters literally today. No one wanted that. Everyone wanted to talk about what they think the city should do or what they think the police should do. And
So,
it's just not going to work.
Yeah, so from that demographic, is their perception on the system then so consistent that there's a way we could offer some alternative to the two options here, to where they could benefit and we could all benefit as well, and not having this concern about this camp growing or worrying about timelines of a new, the warming shelter in Bartle Hall closing down. Now we have to shift gears, right?
Yeah. So again, that's a city thing. We enforce ordinances designed by the city. If we enforce something and the city doesn't back us, then that's just it. Just like in the protest last summer, when everyone was arrested for various whatever they did, and no one was prosecuted, that was police enforcing city ordinances that weren't technically enforced in the courts. And so if the city doesn't have a plan for this and police are expected to go out and continue to tend to this, it's never going to happen. We don't have the resources.
Right. It sounds like a waste of your time and a waste of resources, right?
Yeah, we don't have the resources to come up with a full plan for homelessness. That's not what law enforcement is for. That's
right.
for the.
I talked to Julie about this a month ago, and we were going up to the council level, Eric Bunch, right? District 4
Yes.
or whoever. So is there a timeline for a response on this? Or what has Eric officially said on the matter?
Yeah, he's actually not said much, but so in our meeting last week, we honestly, he honestly talked about just the complaints that have been coming in, and we get the complaints from Captain Simons, and they have grown from one-liners to full paragraphs, and we're trying to get the city to understand that it is an issue. It's an issue that can't be ignored at this point. But again, if the city is not doing anything right now, because I can tell you there is no timeline. There is no timeline. They just want to know what are the hazardous conditions, what are the violations that we see going to the camp. And the conversation was left at that. So that's what we've been doing. We've been going out to see the violations. We've been going out to see what hazardous conditions these people are living in. Are they tapping into city electricity? I know there's like an electrical box for the stoplights, but it's closer to 43rd than it is to camp.
Right. So
I mean,
every light pole has a panel you can unscrew and just tap right in.
Has someone
said what?
established a timeline of these incidents, these multiple incidents, and the lack of engagement from city based on their own ordinances that we all voted on?
I'm sorry, I missed the complete front of that question.
Yeah.
Is there a timeline? Alex asked.
For the removal? No, there's not a timeline. There's not a timeline for anything right now. They don't have there's no timeline. I can tell you that. There is no timeline. We're literally going day by day with this conversation. And I can tell you, it's frustrating for officers just as it's frustrating for the people around there, because if we're going to go in and enforce something, we absolutely have to have the backing of the city.
Right. So I guess my question is, how do we get the backing of the city? Can someone direct me as to how?
That's directing your questions, your concerns, your complaints to the city. That's using 311. That's contacting Councilman Bunch. That's giving them a direct view of your frustration or your concerns or your whatever to them. Because
right, and we do 311, and we've contacted the council member in District 4 here. So I guess where does the buck stop? Is that at Mayor Lucas? Is that where we need to start directing our attention to? Or
I mean, you could, yeah. I mean, he's in charge of this. He's in charge of this.
Right.
And like I said, I mean, our deal has been with Councilman Bunch as of now, given that he was the one that initiated that Zoom call last week. But and if I can give you this, if you want to email, let me pull up his email, make sure I get it right. If you guys, he gave me permission. If you guys want to email Captain Simons himself, you are welcome to do so.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to create a direct email with, again, a timeline and history of these incidences that have been going on over several months, right? To create a better picture of what's actually going on here.
And I mean, some of, because I can tell you, it's not much. The meeting that we had with Councilman Bunch was the first real initiative from City Council that we have seen in regards.
Can you share what he said? I mean, the purpose was to Check the conditions.
So the city's purpose, and this was the basis of the meeting. The city's purpose is to, one, figure out how they can remove this camp and take it somewhere else. Okay. In that, they were talking about violating rights of these people. How that comes about, I do not know. But now they're trying to avoid violating rights. They're trying to avoid lawsuits from these people. And so that's why this is just not, because we thought it would be something as simple as removing the camp.
All right.
Especially
Well, first of all, let's face it, safety is of the utmost paramount for the homeless and for the passersby and all of us. They're tapping into the light poles, which every one of them has a little panel that you can just tap right into. But Compassion needs to have a home here somewhere.
Absolutely.
Well, they were playing soccer and the soccer ball went right in front of my car yesterday.
The other thing I want to make on that point, that should fall, some of that should fall within the two CIDs within Westport. That is Westport. You got the Business League and you've got the, wow, the other one escapes me at the moment. Can there be some sort of security, safety that looks in over there on them?
That's what we've been going over. That's what I'm saying. We have been assessing every single aspect of this camp. That's what I'm saying. All of this has been reported. So many different organizations, so many different people, residents have reported to 311. I'm telling you, the number of 311 complaints that we've gotten, I think, resulted in that meeting last Friday. Other than that, I don't think we would have had a meeting. I don't think it would have been seen as a problem. So people aren't just sitting back and just staring at the camp as they drive past.
Right. And that is great progress. Kudos to everyone involved with that. And I'm glad we're all reporting it. But again, going back to my original comment, I'm a little confused about if some of these businesses are supporting this camp and some of the individuals who don't want this there, where do we draw the line and what is the next step? I'm in favor of looking to get help for these individuals, right? That really want it. But absolutely, in the same sense, if some people I've been told before, they just don't want it outright, well, then I have concerns about safety and building your own tent somewhere or lighting on fire. And then
great points.
Taxpayers coming into it and trying to figure out what to do with it without, any kind of comment from the city. Right.
What are the homeless asking for when they don't want to go to a shelter? What are they asking for?
Or what they have been asking for the past few months, and that is vacant houses and vacant buildings to live in.
Well, we all know that's not going to happen.
Exactly. And that's what I said when I started talking, was that we can offer them what we have and they don't want it. That's not just this camp, that is other people around the city. We have offered homeless outreach. Some of them take it. Some of them we have seen actually get help. We have seen get into housing. And then some people just don't want what we offer. We can't make people take what we have. And that's just what officers have to offer. We've used our social workers. We've used our CIT officers. If you don't want the resources that Kansas City has, then yes, you're going to do something like pop-up tents wherever you want to. That's just the mindset of some of these people. And I can tell you, because we just talked to them and that was their same suggestion, is give us a vacant building so that we can maintain it ourselves. Well, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, they're going to pay the utilities and the taxes and all of that.
Exactly. And that's what we said. That's exactly the point that we came up with. Who's going to maintain this and who's liable for this when something happens, when someone dies in here, when something falls down? Who's responsible? Because the city will still be responsible, and that will never.
It's quite scary going into. I'm a risk loss consultant. I go into buildings to see what's for insurance purposes, and then to stumble upon a group of homeless people having little fires inside of a vacant building and dogs and all that. They're scurrying and all that. It's terrifying. I have to call the police and then spend an entire day it's just, Obviously, it's ridiculous. I should shut my pie hole and let the conversation go on.
Who owns that?
No, I
parcel
totally
there
agree.
In
I tot-
Westport, where the
Yeah.
current camp is
And-
now.
And we've got about one more minute. So I want to respect kind of the time we set forward. And we know this is a big issue, but it sounds like if we have concern, other than of course immediate safety, that directing it towards 311
Absolutely. I think that's going to be
to Eric Bunch is going to be
it's going to be
more
what gets there.
effective.
And the 311s have been, they have been getting the city's attention. Not as fast as
Okay.
everyone would like, but yes, it is catching the attention of the city at City Hall to read these and hear these, because they get sent back to us, we read them.
Okay.
But all I can do is keep people updated. That, I mean, you know, I answer
No,
the
that's
phone, we
Right.
answer
Well, we
email.
appreciate it because
Yeah.
I was not getting answers from anyone but you.
Yeah. And I've been CC'd on emails directed to Councilman Bunch, and then people get replies and say he's out of the office, or he won't be here for a week, or, you know, and so they're not getting answers that way either.
We seeking the email for Captain
Yep.
Simmons?
Simons.
Yep, I got it.
Okay.
Try-
I'm not certain what, but as long as,
I can put it in the chat, or I can just tell you
That-
guys.
Put it
put
in
it in the chat, please.
All right.
Because when
Cool.
people go back and watch the meeting, when we share the meeting
Mhm.
on our YouTube channel, people might later send an email to both
Sure.
Eric Bunch and Captain Simons and
Sure. And I mean, I encourage it. Like you said, Gary, there needs to be some compassion, but there also has to be you got to give and take here. And if we're trying to offer resources and you're not taking them, I don't know what else to, you know.
safety is paramount to all of us.
I would think that they could set up some sort of work study program like they do at the colleges.
There's so many.
If you
There's
work,
so many things out there that they could tap into, and they just don't want to. That's what I'm telling you. They just don't want to.
I have given food to the people just because it was cold and they were looking hungry on the corner
Yep.
where we don't want to give them food, but watch the man throw the orange away. He wanted booze money or drug money. He
That's what
literally
he did.
threw the food that I gave him over in Jimmy John's parking lot.
That's what I'm
Right.
saying.
which is why we say, don't give the mouse a cookie.
Yeah.
I'm with you. That was the last time.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll give them the sweatshirt if they need it, you know.
Well,
Let me put this in the chat.
Charmaine,
All right,
thank you
well,
thank you so much for
much.
taking the time, and we know this is a tough issue, so I appreciate you reporting back to us kind of the state of affairs, and thank you for all your help with this.
No problem. And I just put Captain Simons in the chat there. I mean, he said, you know, feel free. He'll give you what he can, which is probably what all that I just gave you. But feel free to contact him.
All right.
I mean, I look forward to your input here on our meetings because it's important, and I thank you very much myself.
Oh, no problem. I don't mind. That's why I'm here, to keep you guys updated. I know that's your home, your area, and so I want you guys to have as much information as you can.
And unless you want to volunteer for art in the park, you don't have to hang around to the end of the meeting.
Yeah.
But you can sign up to volunteer for anything you'd like. Just
Yes,
putting it out there.
it's in an email, that volunteer information. And I'm gonna hop on another
Okay.
room here, but yeah, send it to me.
Thanks, hon.
No problem. You
Bye-bye.
guys have a good.
Well, I'm gonna look and see if any of the
Yep.
candidates have joined. I don't, oh, Rita,
Hello.
are you one of the candidates for the school board?
I am.
Well, there we go. Well, let me do a little plug for our volunteer forum. I don't think anybody knew except Audrey came back. We are conducting in the chat, aside from the discussion this evening, our volunteer forum, which the thing on the screen is our activities and events that we need bodies for, to help pull them off and make it happen. So if you wish to get more information about one of the volunteer opportunities, or if you want to sign up for one of the volunteer opportunities, do so in the chat. And then we can go ahead and Rita, please, I didn't get the names, Meg didn't give me the names of everybody that was going to participate. So if you please introduce yourself and give us the why you're running for what you're running for. And you're welcome to put your contact information in the chat so that if somebody has further detailed questions for you that we can't get to during your time, by all means, they can get in touch with you that way. So you have our attention for the moments that you have.
Great. Well, thank you. And I appreciate the invitation. My name is Rita Cortez. I currently serve as the Subdistrict 1 representative to the board of the Kansas City Public Schools. I was elected in April of 2019. I have filed for re-election, and I am the only candidate on the ballot in Subdistrict 1. Nobody else filed to run against me this time.
Yay!
Which is great, but also disappointing, because I really believe that one of the signs of a healthy public school system will be when we have multiple candidates for every seat. And we have substance that we're disagreeing about that we can help to use to move the school system forward. I live I live on 51st Street, so I'm kind of in the neighborhood. Have spent most of my adult life in Kansas City, Missouri, except for a 10-year stint in Washington, D.C., working and going to school. So I spend my spare time working on behalf of Kansas City Public Schools, in large part because I believe that our city bears a responsibility for delivering to every child both access to and encouragement toward a quality education. It's not enough to just make it possible. We have to tear down barriers. We have to create opportunities, and we have to really set the bar high for our kids. And I think that we have good leadership in place in Dr. Mark Bedell. He's been with the district now for 4 years. He has evaluated a lot of the challenges, the historic challenges that have existed within the district, and worked with his team to put really solid strategies in place. The challenge now is getting our kids back in school from the pandemic. Yesterday was our first day back with in-person teaching and learning. Our teachers have started getting vaccinated, and we look forward to a return to full in-person learning later this spring. And hopefully as many kids as possible enrolled in summer school, so we can really focus on one at a time, individual focus on how we help children accelerate skill development and learning.
Yay.
So that's really, I did not attend public school growing up, but I have really wrestled with the notion that Kansas City as a community, and I grew up working in the business community. That's really been my engagement through most of my career. Now I work for a nonprofit, but the business and civic community have basically, to be honest, ignored KCPS for many, many years. And I think it's really important to reconnect our public schools to our whole community, so that the public schools are an asset for our kids and for our community. So that's why I spend my time the way that I do.
Great. Thank you, Rita.
The school district has been so fortunate under the new superintendent. I mean, it really is miles ahead, isn't it? From where it was 4 or 5 years ago.
Yes, I really believe it is. And I think now is the time when we have to kind of go beyond being pleased with increments, small increments, and really focus on how we help our kids grow the critical skills necessary, both academic and social emotional, to be successful throughout their academic and professional lives.
Tough job.
Okay, Ms. Ford, are you there? So you're signed on, but you're muted.
I'm here.
Okay.
My
if you,
video's not work. Okay, there we go. Hi.
so is someone else with you also on the call?
Yes.
Okay, then I won't, then that's you. Okay, so the best thing I can tell you is to please share your contact information in our chat so that if someone has a question for you, they can reach out. And Rita, Margie had asked a question. Oh, she did. Margie had asked a question earlier in the chat. If you wanted to answer her question after Ms. Ford introduces herself, that would be awesome. Or you can answer it in the chat.
Happy to do it after Tanisha's had an opportunity to share a little bit of herself with you.
Okay, Tanisha, go.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for allowing me to be in your space tonight. I am Tanisha Nooner Ford, and I'm running at large for the board of Kansas City Public Schools. I'm running for many, many reasons, but the primary reasons is that I have a strong belief in the power of our public education system. And I just see so much opportunity and potential in improving our school district. I'm a product of Kansas City Public Schools. I attended the schools from kindergarten through the 8th grade. I later moved to Raytown, where I actually completed my high school experience. And then I attended the University of Central Missouri for my undergraduate and graduate school experience. Personally, I am a wife and I'm a mom of 2 very young children, a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. My life is very full right now, but my oldest is going to be starting kindergarten in August. He's going to be attending Holiday Montessori, which is one of the schools in the district. And so we are really, really excited about him attending that school, especially since his dad is a graduate of Kansas City Public Schools and his mom attended the school district as well as so many of our other family members. Professionally, I've worked in education for about 16 years. And so supporting young people in education is something that I'm extremely passionate about. It's something that I consider to be a calling, and it's something that has absolutely become my life's work. For the last 13 years, I've worked for the Kauffman Scholars Program in many different roles, college advisor, but now I currently serve as the executive director for that program. And so Kauffman Scholars has served over 2,500 kids from Kansas City over the years, and many of those students have come from Kansas City Public Schools as well. And so I have a firsthand experience of students once they exit our school system, seeing our students' challenges that they face as they try to persist to and through college is something that I feel is really unique to me as a candidate and will be extremely valuable as a board member as we try to backwards map and help more and more students be more successful prior to them transitioning from our school district. I am personally just concerned about our student outcomes and the widening opportunity gap that we are seeing in our school district. I celebrate and I recognize the growth that we have experienced over the last few years as a district, but I am absolutely still concerned when I see some of the data points that speak to some of our most marginalized students that are still seeing some of the worst outcomes in our school district. So our Black and Brown students, our low income students, our special needs students, those students I feel a great deal of concern for them. And also because I see my own children represented in that data as well. And so while we have experienced some growth, I want to make sure that our focus is on improving student outcomes for all students at all schools. I think that that's going to be very key for our success over the next few years and taking us to the next level. And I think that it is extremely important for us to be relentless in addressing the outcomes that we're seeing in our school district. I know that accreditation is something that is extremely important to us as a community and as a district, but I think that it cannot be our North Star. It has to be our baseline, because once we achieve that accreditation, our student outcomes and our student achievement is still going to be the same. And so I never fault the students in that student achievement data that I'm speaking to, but we are dealing with years and generations of just a historical context that we are also trying to battle. And so I want to use my energy, my fresh perspectives, my resources, my time, all of my energy in just being relentless about addressing those student outcomes that I know we have the capacity to see as a school district. And I also think that it is extremely important for us to figure out ways for us to create spaces for parents to be more included in their children's educational experiences. And also college and career readiness is something that is extremely important to me as a leader of a scholarship program. So that's why I'm choosing to run. I want Kansas City Public Schools to be viewed as a best fit option in our community. And I believe we can do that.
Yay. Well, thank you. And there are now 2 questions. So Rita, if you want to answer Margie's question and possibly both of you answer Julia's question, we have about 10 minutes left and we have to do a raffle at the end. So, and then Tanisha, you can read Margie's question so that you might have an opinion on that one as well. So Rita?
So I'll jump in real quick because I never mess with the raffle at the end. So Margie asked how the recent ordinance reducing incentives will benefit the district. The short answer is that the ordinance, I think, brings into better balance, not perfect balance, because I think the district sought more, but it brings into better balance the incentives for development and the need to fund education in our community with the growth of the city. And so there is the potential that it will benefit the district by providing additional economic support. That will depend on how well the development and civic community hold each other to account in the use of those incentives. That's really always been the challenge in this city. It's not so much what the ordinance says, it's how the council, how the development community seeks incentives and how the council awards them, because they can go beyond the framework of the ordinance under really at their discretion. So it is an important step. It is a step in the journey, not an end, I think, is the most important piece of what I would share.
And Tanisha, if you want to answer Julia's question.
I can't speak to how the district is planning to support students. Rita will probably be better positioned to answer that. I can give my take on what I would hope that the district would be doing. I think that it's definitely a great opportunity. We are dealing with students that were, many of our students were likely having some struggles pre-pandemic. And so I think the pandemic has definitely exacerbated some of the challenges for many of our students. And I think that it's actually going to be years before we see the full impact that COVID has caused on our students and on the educational system. I think that we are going to have to be extremely innovative in how we use our time and how we utilize our resources. I understand that there is an equity policy in place. I think that equity is going to be key in how we reallocate resources to students who definitely have the greatest need and bringing students up to speed over what they've lost over this last year. I think we're going to have to utilize summers in a different way. I think we're going to have to use many different educational resources. I think there's going to need to be tutors. I don't think that there is any opportunity that should be off limits when we look at trying to address how we bring up students up to speed who have fallen behind. But I think we're in a very critical time period, and it's going to take a lot of work to bring kids back. But I've seen it done when you think about adult learners who are trying to get their GEDs and need to do it in a short amount of time. I think that there are ways for us to accelerate learning, and I think we're going to have to apply those similar models in addressing our young people as well.
I would hope that they would do peer programs with the students that maybe the pandemic learning helped them excel. Well, maybe they can spend a semester being a buddy to one of the strugglers.
Yeah, yeah.
I would really build, I think Tanisha covered the waterfront perfectly. In fact, I was just on a call an hour and a half ago with Dr. Bedell, and she could be quoting, and she wasn't on that call. So
I was not.
truly in alignment with the vision. And I think the big priority is going to be not letting up. And we know that our teachers and our families and our administrators have been through an incredibly stressful period, right? They've done extraordinary things, but we can't, I think we're going to have a brief period here for the next, let's say 6 to 8 weeks, where we're going to kind of reintroduce ourselves to in-person teaching and learning and just the joy of being together, right? That's what I heard in the last 48 hours from teachers and administrators. But we have to once we get beyond that, and this becomes a little bit more normal, we have to use all the things that Tanisha referenced. And from a board perspective, we have to support the superintendent in pushing himself and his team beyond the normal, right? We have access to extraordinary financial resources from the federal government that are intended to be used over the next 2 years to be creative and innovative in how we support and move our students forward to recapture the learning that they may have not had in the last 12 months, and then to build on that beyond. It's not just to get back, it's to get beyond. And so I think all of those things have to be on the table. And I think some of that will make people who are used to traditional things uncomfortable. And we have to do it in a way that we serve not just their academic needs, but their social and emotional needs as well. And the district has some really sound strategies around that for both for how we supported students during the pandemic and their families, but also how we intend to do that as we return to in-person teaching and learning. So the short answer at what impact has had on COVID has had on student school funding is it's been negative in the sense that tax collections are way down. We know that our revenues are going to be impacted now and for the near term. But that is frankly the role that the federal funding is going to play, is to help fill some of those gaps and the additional costs associated with all of the adaptations in our buildings and in our systems that we've had to make to build the blocks to be effective.
Is it possible that we have had some minor savings from not operating these buildings, but then immediately you turn around and say, at what cost is an empty building? It still has to be heated, it still has to be insured, it still needs to be maintained. Can we consolidate buildings? Is moving kids around a little bit further than where they were going of any value? We're going to need a lot of money to get through this. The things that you're just saying, we're going to have to have a lot of revenue. I literally don't know enough to even be speaking on the matter.
So I'll give you the 30-second version, which is incomplete, which is, yes, there will be some savings. They will largely be offset by the decrease in tax collections and about $12 million in deferred revenue that's related to tax appeals going back to 2019 that got put off for over a year because of the pandemic. Right, so they got moved out of this year's budget. But definitely there will be some savings. There will also be increased costs. We've had to make an enormous investment in technology and tools for our students and our faculty and our system to support access to technology for teaching and learning. But to your question about buildings and usage, we are in the process of something called Blueprint 2030, which is interwoven with strategic planning. And those are serious questions that this next board is going to have to wrestle with, which is what does the configuration of the system look like? Where will students, what buildings will students occupy for in what configurations? We know we have some schools that are badly under enrolled, and we need to take a hard look at how we address both the service aspects and the economic aspects of that. So
Consolidation is the only way I see how, shut things down and try to sell off properties, but it doesn't really work like that. All right, Julie.
Well, I thank you very much for signing on. Regina had one more question about if there's going to be some mental health counseling available for the kids as they go back to being with everybody. And
yeah, I think you did answer that, because you said that you guys had some things in place for the social emotional well-being of the kids, and that was my concern. I'm a retired special ed teacher after 36 years, so I have a lot invested in kiddos.
Okay. All right. So we're going to wrap it up. It's 7:59. And
thank you, girls,
Audrey.
ladies, rather.
Audrey, hey, are you still on the call, Audrey?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, you get another gift certificate.
Oh boy.
And as soon as they arrive, you're going to want to come and get them. But they have not arrived yet from the card company, but I have you down for this month's as well. So just to be sure.
Wow.
Here's my cup that I have everybody's name in. Okay. So it's authentic. So nobody volunteered, but you are still welcome to volunteer at any moment of the day, either to my email, to the WPNA general email. Hopefully Stephanie will be able to figure out how to post this on the Facebook page so that people can volunteer that way. But thank you all for showing up. I think we got some good answers. The election is April 6th, right? Tanisha, is it April 6th?
April 6th, 3
April
weeks
6th.
away.
And Rita, are we able to vote for you?
yes, I am on the ballot, and please come out and vote for me. It's me against the write-in blank, which according to my 12-year-old niece, Mickey Mouse is the most written in candidate. She just finished taking civics, and I have no intention of losing to Mickey Mouse, so I would appreciate your help.
I had to unmute to laugh for that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody. Julia?
Thank you, everyone.
Yes, please
Julia?
feel free. If you have interest in the volunteer positions, we need all the help we can get. If you'd like more information, please feel free to reach out to the WPNA General email and we can send you more details. Please, please, please volunteer. That's how we keep this good work going. So, and thank you to
so
all of our
much.
guest speakers tonight.
For sure. Thank you, everyone.
Y'all have a good evening.
Thank you
Good
so
night,
much.
guys.
Thank you. Bye, everyone. Thank you for
Bye-bye.
your time.
Bye. Good night.
Good night.